back to another episode of Conversations with Jacob. Today I'm joined by Tiny Graceland. Her name's Heidi, but she goes by Tiny Graceland on Instagram. And so, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Very nice to meet you.
Of course. Now, which I have to give a big shout out to a good friend of mine, which her name is Jen, and she's the one that's kind of point me to your direction to reach out for an interview. So that's what I did. So, was I guess to get started here, and how did you become an Elvis fan?
Oh gosh, well, I've when I was really little, I got my very first record was Elvis Sings for Children and Grown-Ups Too. I don't know if you're familiar with that album, but I had that right when I was little, and I've always kind of listened to Elvis, but I didn't really become like a super fan until around 1995. It was 1995 when I first visited Graceland. And it just had such an effect on me. And that's really when I got home from Graceland. I was 19. I just started reading everything I could read, and that's when it really started. So it's been quite a few years. I'm 47 now. So.
All right, now, do you got a favorite Elvis song or like a favorite? Was I guess an album?
I think I lost you. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh.
You're choppy.
Oh. Can you hear me and see me now?
You know what? My favorite album is probably Elvis Now. I love that album. Love everything on it. I mean, I love all Elvis music. I can now, yes. Right. I think there might be a bit of a delay or something.
Yeah, it might be, yeah.
But, where are you, by the way? Where are you in the States, I guess?
Yeah, well, I'm in Virginia.
Oh, nice. I've been through there. Lovely state.
Oh, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, sorry. There's a bit of a delay, so I'll try my best to answer.
All right, yeah. All right, yeah.
But, I love so many Elvis songs. It's really hard to pick a favorite because I have a favorite for like a time. Excessively listen to another one, but I would say if I had to pick an album, I do love Elvis Now. It's one of my favorite albums because it has so many of my favorite songs on there. Like I love the song Sylvia. That's a fantastic song. I'm also very much in love with We Can Make the Morning. I listen to that one a lot. My favorites.
All right, yeah. Now, and can you tell us on how Tiny Graceland came to be?
Sure. Yes. Well, I've always loved miniature things ever since I was little, and as we've discussed, I am a massive Elvis fan. So when the pandemic was happening, I live in Toronto, and we had been in lockdown for quite some time, and I was just going a bit stir crazy, and I wanted a creative outlet that I could do in my house since we weren't leaving the house. And I've always been a very creative person. I do all kinds of other things, but I'd never really tried miniatures, and it just sort of came to me that what if I made like a little mini Graceland. And honestly, I at first I thought nobody would ever see it. I just put it on Instagram for my mom to be able to see, and I don't even know if my mom really looks at it anymore, but other people do now, which is fantastic. So just really turned into quite a passion, and now it's really all I do. I have a day job, and I work, and as soon as I'm finished work, I'm Tiny.
All right, now, Woodson, how long does it take you to work on, which I guess your miniature house?
It takes a long time. As I said, I do have a day job. Otherwise, I'd be a lot further along, I'm sure. But with the few hours that I can put into it, I've already been working on it for it would have been 2 years at the end of January. So, and I anticipate probably at least another year, maybe two, till I'm finished the whole thing. So it totally depends on the piece, what I'm working on, but some pieces can take days, even a week to finish, just the one piece. There are so many pieces.
All right, now my next question is, I guess it would be, and how well do you pay attention to detail?
I try to recreate as much detail as I possibly can. Now I'm working at 1/24 scale, which is very, very small. The whole house that's behind me here
Oh
is
yeah.
only it's only 16 inches tall. So the rooms are about 4.5 inches tall. So everything is very, very small at this scale. So I can't physically recreate every single detail, but I try my best to recreate as much as I can at this scale.
All right.
But I do a lot of research to try and find small details. And I was on a reconnaissance mission in January. I went back to Graceland and took as many detail photos as I can. And so I do try to as much detail as I can. And if people ever notice that I've forgotten something, feel free to comment or DM, and we'll try and fix that.
All right. Now, do you plan to add everything to it?
I had a
Yeah. And what was that? I didn't quite hear it.
Well, I'm going to do the whole house. I'm not recreating the upstairs, which
Right.
has never been open to, and so just out of respect for the Presley family, I've decided not to recreate the upstairs. But that's good for me anyway, because then I can put that's where I hide all my like switches for lights and things like that. But yeah, I'm doing the whole house. I will be doing the front grounds and the famous gate, and I'll be doing the pool and the meditation gardens, although I've decided to do the meditation gardens as it was when Elvis used to meditate there. So I won't be recreating any graves or anything like that. But I will be doing the outbuildings eventually. And now that part's pretty, when I say a year or two, that's to finish like the main house. So the outbuildings and everything else, who knows how long that's going to take. It's kind of a life project, really.
Well, and that was going to be my next question. Do you plan on making other buildings on the property? And you kind of answered that question right there for me. So, I can
Yeah.
I can mark that one off. Okay, the next one is now in Graceland has a lot of secrets, and have you included those into your like the house?
I have as many as I can. There's a fantastic YouTube series. I believe it's called Secret Hidden Graceland. Anyway, that Angie Marchese, the head of archives, did a really cool YouTube series if anyone wants to look that up, that shares some of those secrets. So I've gotten some from there. I also follow Ashley Drew, that has a lot of great videos about Secret Graceland. So wherever I can find a secret, I'm going to include it. So, for example, there's a little tiny, well, it's not little tiny in real life. There is a samurai sword that they found when they were sort of moving things around and archiving everything. And there's a break front cabinet in the living room, and in one of the drawers they just found a samurai sword. It's kind of like a dagger, and I believe it was a gift to Elvis from someone, but they just keep it in there just for fun, even though it's not on display. So I have a tiny samurai sword in the drawer. There's a little buzzer button underneath the dining room table where Elvis apparently would press that. I'm assuming to contact the kitchen, like to get them to bring things in. So I've included that. Anything I find that's a secret, quote unquote, I will include.
Now, is there something that you wish and that you can add to it?
Sorry?
The next question is there something that you wish and that you could add to the house?
That I wish I could add to the house?
Yeah.
You mean like if I could change the house?
Yeah, and also if there's something that, it's like at the real Graceland that you, I don't know, I really don't know about it, but, if there's like a room that you can add, and what room would it be, and that you don't already have now?
Well, I mean, there's many rooms I don't have yet, so we'll be adding all the rooms that I don't have. I mean, I wish I had access and could see the upstairs and do those, but only if, of course, if access was given to everyone, that would be a wish. But I understand why it's not, and I totally understand that they keep the upstairs as a family place. But of course, every Elvis fan kind of secretly wishes they could see the upstairs for sure.
All right. The next one is And have you been to Graceland?
I have, yes. I've been 4 times. Just went recently in January for the first time in quite a few years. Because I don't know if you're familiar with Graceland much, but I think it was 2018, I want to say, but they built a whole brand new complex across the street with brand new museum. I hadn't seen any of those yet, so I just went recently and got to see all the new complex, which is fascinating. Like, especially they have an incredible jumpsuit display, and they have all those cars and everything like that. So that was great. But yeah, I've been 4 times, and actually, I were married there. There is a chapel on the grounds of Graceland. It's called the Chapel of the Woods. And in 2008, we were married there. And then after we were married, we were the last wedding in the day, and the guests had all finished their tour, so they let us walk right up to the doors and take our wedding photo. I have a photo of my husband opening the door to Graceland for me in my wedding dress, which is really fun.
All right, and speaking of Elvis, and have you seen the new movie, and what do you think about Austin Butler playing Elvis?
I have. I don't even know how many times I've seen it now. I saw it, I think, 4 times in the theaters. I own the Blu-ray. I still watch it I even stream it on TV, even though I own it. I've seen it, I don't even know how many times. I love it, clearly. And what I love too, but every time I watch it, I see something different. There's just so much in it. There is with any of Baz Luhrmann's films. There's just so much detail, and like every time I see it, I see something else. I think it's fantastic. I think Austin Butler did an amazing job when it was first coming out. Obviously, he hadn't done a lot of things before, so I don't think anyone was terribly familiar with his work, and young, and no one looks like Elvis. So the thought was, how is this kid gonna pull this off? But as I'm sure everyone's heard, he did so much preparation, like years of dedication to it, and I think it really paid off. I think it's the best performance of Elvis that I've ever seen, and I've watched them all. So.
Oh, yeah. All right, now, and can you show us Tiny Graceland?
Sure. On this system, can I flip my camera around? I'm not sure. If not, I can kind of see what we got here. I wonder, do you know if you can flip the camera around like you can on your phone normally?
Not sure.
Let me see if I can figure that out. Oop, nope, that turns the camera off. All right, well, I don't think I can flip it, but I will try and show you. But if you actually can't see, then just shout. I can hear you, but I won't be able to see you. So this is the house. I'm going to try and peek over here and see what I'm looking at. Here we go. This is the outside so far. The dining room is in a bit of disarray right now because I'm currently working on, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, yeah. I'm dressing the dining room table today, so I'm making plates. So there's no, I don't know. What does that bird's eye view look like? Dining room has no table right now.
Oh, yeah, I see it, yeah.
I'm trying. If I could flip the camera around, you could do better. Just taking the roof off here, and
how about
see the living room in there.
Oh, yeah.
Gladys's bedroom. The stairs are here. Up here we've got a bunch of switches because I just made a chandelier. I could see if I can get you in there. And over here we have that lid has a light in it. That's the music room. I'm trying to take the roof off to show you. There's the little music room. Sorry, this isn't the best show and tell because I can't turn the camera around. But I wonder if I can get in here. I don't know if you can see in there. I can't see where I'm going, but
oh yeah.
That's the foyer, and I'm currently working on the kitchen. It's under construction. Working on the kitchen carpet there.
Yeah, that's something.
And actually, what I could probably show you, because I can lift it, is this is Gladys's bathroom.
Oh, wow.
See that?
Yeah.
That's one of the tinier rooms. Yeah, so there's a lot of work being done. Still lots to go, but I'm also working right now on these little tiny grates, because every window at Graceland has little grates that go over it, so I have to make a lot of those. don't know what else I could show you just because I can't see where the camera's pointing. Right now I'm working on, this is a little cabinet that goes in the dining room, and I have to make all silver that goes in there. So I'm making very small little silver pieces. And today I'm working on dressing the table, which I actually just figured out. I don't know if anyone cares about minis, but I was making plates out of clay, which is the go-to I would normally do, but they're too big. As I find most things I make, I'm like, it's too big. So right now I got a new method I'm trying out where I actually took a lighter and sort of lit on fire a washer and then put it in some plastic garbage to melt it, and it made these little plastic plates, which seem to be a bit better scale. So I use a lot of garbage. I use all kinds of just bits and bobs that I find, and you never know what might turn into a finisher.
All right, and where can people find you, like, on social media?
Well, my main platform is Instagram. I'm at Tiny Graceland on Instagram, and that's where I post way more often than any of the other platforms. I do have Tiny Graceland Facebook and TikTok. I sometimes post videos to TikTok. I don't post to Facebook as much. Sometimes I'll post to Facebook, but I don't really answer comments and stuff because I just don't have time. I'm too busy making. But the Instagram is the best place to find me, and I do love to interact with people on there too. If anyone has any questions, they can always feel free to DM me or comment. And I also actually have a little announcement that I made. Yes. Oh, were you going to ask about that?
No, I wasn't. No.
I have a side project I'm starting. I won't really be starting it until the summer, but I'm in the research and development phase because even though there's so much work to keep doing on Tiny Graceland, I kind of like to have something else to work on occasion just to keep my brain fresh. So I'm starting Tiny Cocoa Palms, Cocoa Resort. As you probably know, I can see you got an Elvis shirt and an Elvis thing behind you. But that's the resort in Hawaii where Elvis and Priscilla used to vacation, and they shot Blue Hawaii there. And unfortunately, it was destroyed by a hurricane in 1990. But I've with it, and I can't now, so I thought I'd just make one, and then I can just go there in my brain. So,
there you go, yeah.
Tiny Cocoa Palms will be coming in the summer, and right now I'm just posting pictures and history and stuff, and collecting pictures wherever I can. So if anyone out there has been to Cocoa Palms and has photos or stories about Cocoa Palms, well, let me know, please.
Yeah. Now, do you plan on making the birthplace?
Maybe someday. I have a huge list. Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to make a birthplace. I'd love to make so many. I'd love to make the Palm Springs honeymoon hideaway, they call it, where that mid-century modern house that they lived in. I'd love to make Audubon Drive. I could do this forever, and I probably will.
All right. That's all the questions I have. But we're going to turn it over to our the chat on YouTube. If anybody's got any questions, and go ahead. Which I know there's like a delay on YouTube. So if you got any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll try to get your question in to the podcast. So now the hard part is waiting for the questions. But yeah, as I got an Elvis T-shirt, I got the poster, I got this thing right here I got from Graceland. I'll show it off. It's like a replica of the guitar that he used on the '68 comeback special.
Oh, love it.
Oh yeah, but that's about it. I got a few CDs.
So, Jacob, what's your favorite Elvis song and album?
Oh boy, that's a hard one to ask. Answer, to be honest. Oh, it's like a Promised Land. That's one of them.
Nice.
And then I guess 3 Corn Patches.
I don't know if I know that.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna have to put that up now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah. Let's see, if there's any questions, and feel free to ask. Like I said, I know there's like a 5-second delay on YouTube. So I guess we wait. So and when you went to Graceland, and did you tour the complex as well? I'm pretty sure you did. But
I did, yeah. is very impressive. They've always had a little museum across the street, but this new complex is, I've read it somewhere how many hectares or square feet it is bigger. It's way bigger, and they have much more on display. I mean, it takes a whole day just to go through the museum. You could probably do 2 days. And I did. I went back 2 days in a row.
That's crazy.
But my favorite, the new jumpsuit display is absolutely incredible. So they have them all in like this. It's almost like those. I don't even know how to describe it. It's a huge display. They're all on top of each other, and they're beautifully lit, and they really come alive. And the restorers who've been working on it have restored them to their former glory, and they're just beautiful. It's really cool.
Now, have you been to I guess it would be Sun Studios?
I have, yes.
Yeah,
I've been to Sun Studios. I've been to Tupelo, to the birthplace, which I also love. I've been Beale Street, of course. And I've also been, in 2019, I went to Bad Nauheim and stayed in the rooms where Elvis lived when he was in the Army. That was really amazing. I try to, wherever I go, even if it's like doesn't have like a big Elvis site, I try to look up like whatever I can because Elvis is everywhere. So I like to find whatever I can that's Elvis related everywhere I go.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any questions. Like I said, if people on YouTube has any questions, feel free to ask. And by the way, if you're listening on the podcasting sites, make sure to follow us on Spotify and Amazon Music and iHeartRadio and all of that. And we also got merchandise, so make sure to check that out on our YouTube. And we got a question that just came in. Someone says, Heidi, and thank you for coming. It's an honor. And where do you get your materials and for the home, such as the curtains and carpet, and do you use a recycled material?
Hi, thanks for the question. All of the above. I some things like the balsa wood and stuff like that. There's a dollhouse store in Toronto that I get some raw materials from there. Usually just the woods. But most stuff, honestly, I either like the curtains was just velvet I ordered on Amazon. The carpet I printed, the white carpet I just ordered like a felt material on Amazon. I order a lot of stuff on Amazon because, in all honesty, specialty stores are quite expensive, and I'm also lazy and I just want stuff into my house. I order a lot of stuff on Amazon. And recycled materials, heck yes. As I was just explaining earlier, I'm making plates out of plastic garbage. I use a lot of junk. I have this thing down here under my desk, which is just like a box of literal garbage. Like whenever we have something that has packaging, like I'm like, don't throw that away, and I have to look at it and see if it's got any interesting shapes or anything I can use. Bits of pens, bits of earrings, bits of... the one I always say, I've said this every time anyone asks this question, but the inside roller and dog poo bags, I've used that. I use anything you can think of. There's a lot of recycled materials in here for it.
Yeah.
And the stone is made out of coffee trays. I use a lot of coffee trays, which I guess is kind of recycled.
All right. And we'll wait like a few more seconds. If there's no more questions, then I guess that would be a wrap. And we'll wait just probably about I guess a minute, because people usually comments like after, and they wonder whether then they wonder and why the question never was answered. So let's see here. And I think there's another question right here. They said, and do the store the house in do you store the house in a climate control I guess a room?
I wish I had a climate controlled room, but unfortunately I don't. And actually it does have an effect on it because the wood like on the roof is starting to warp a little, so I just had to install some magnets to keep the roof from warping. The extent of my climate control is like this, where if I wasn't showing it to you, I just cover it up every night, so at least it doesn't get too dusty. But yeah, no, unfortunately I don't. And you know what? If someday in the future, if I win the lottery, I would really love to have like a studio and then I can make all these things at once and keep them all properly stored. But unfortunately, it takes up, like, I live in a tiny apartment and this is my living room right behind me. So my husband's nice enough to let me take up all this.
Now my question is, and if you got any pets, and do you worry that they'll jump on the table and knock it off or break something?
I do. I have a little doggie. I don't know where she is right now. We have a senior pug mix, and she's very old, so there's no way in heck she's getting up onto this table. But she does shed a little, and I'll take pictures sometimes for Instagram, and I won't notice while I'm taking it, and then when I go to post it, I'm like, oh, there's a giant dog hair in the middle of the room. So I recently bought like this cute little hand vacuum that's supposed to be for cleaning computer keyboards, and I find that gets the dog hair out of Graceland. So, great question.
Yeah. Because I know I got a cat, and he likes to jump up and knock things off, and so that's why I keep my important things like my phone and computer, like higher ground a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think I could have a cat. I think a cat would definitely
for sure.
Problem.
We got another question, and this question says, "And what is your next project? Can you say?"
Yes, next project. Well, it's kind of like it's simultaneous, but I'm starting in the summer Tiny Cocoa Palms Resort.
All right.
But that'll be a lot slower because I don't want to take too much time away from Tiny Graceland, and there's still a long way to go. It's just sometimes if I find if I have a creative project that's I know is going to take me a long time, and I'm focused on it and I love it, but sometimes my brain just wants to work on something different for a bit just to refresh it and come back to it. So it'll be a side project, Tiny Cocoa Palms, and just for fun. But that will be, and then when Tiny Graceland's done, I imagine I'll still have a lot more work to do on Tiny Cocoa Palms. So it will then become my next project.
Now I got a question. Now and once you do the Tiny Graceland and do all of the stuff that needs to be done, and do you ever imagine like making like miniature versions for people to buy?
Honestly, the amount of time and material costs that go into something like this, I get asked that a lot, and I just don't think. I mean, I know a lot of people make miniatures to sell, and however, I'm not going to say it's a generalization. So obviously, I'm sure there are people who make things from scratch, but I think a lot of people who sell miniatures as a living nowadays use 3D printing and laser printing and stuff like that, just because I don't think it's possible to make in mass to sell if you're doing it from scratch. Again, that's a generalization. I don't know what I'm talking about. So maybe there are people who do that, but that's my understanding generally. I would really have to be doing some kind of 3D printing or mass producing, because otherwise the amount of time and the materials alone, it's been 2 years and I do use a lot of garbage, but even that being said, I don't want to think about how much money I've actually spent on tools and materials to put into this. Like, if I was to sell Tiny Graceland, I think it would be so expensive that nobody could possibly afford it. That's my answer.
All right, yeah. All right, taking some last questions. If you got any, feel free. I'll probably do, I guess one or two more questions. So if you got any, feel free to ask. If not, then I guess it's a wrap. Let's see.
I got a question for you. Is it warm in Virginia?
Well, right now it's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold and it's wet because it's been raining. So as of right now, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's freezing in Toronto. That's why I got my cozy clothes on, because it is like really, really cold. We got a snowstorm, so.
Yeah, it's here in Virginia, but you never know what you're going to get. It could rain 1 minute and snow the next, and then about 10 minutes later, the sun's out and it's about 90 degrees. So you never know. All right, let's see here. We're going to wait just about 10 seconds. If we don't have a question, then, I guess it's a wrap. Alrighty. I think that's about all the questions, because it ain't no more. But there was some good questions asked by the people in the chat. But anyways, I want to thank you for coming on and talking about Tiny Graceland. And I hope people check you out on Instagram, which I'll put the link to your Instagram in the description below. And hopefully people will check it out, and and they'll see the project that you've been working on.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's been lovely chatting. I'm sorry I couldn't show you Graceland a little better, but
it's okay.
Turn my camera around. But there are lots of pictures of it online if anybody wants to see it. Right. And this has been really fun. Thanks so much.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and thanks for watching or listening to Conversations with Jacob. Tune in next week. And as we talk to my good friend Jake Thorne, and make sure to tune in later this year, and as we talk with Larry Getter, and who did Elvis's hair. So tune in for that. I'm sure that'll be a good conversation. But anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week on Conversations with Jacob.